What's going on, you guys, and welcome to another video. This is the second time I'm filming this video. The first time I made a mistake. I was feeling ambitious and trying to film in C-Log 3, unable to grade the color, and it looked terrible. So we're trying this again. We're gonna be fine. This is also the third time I'm doing this video. This is one of the first videos I did when starting my YouTube channel a couple years back, and this is one of the most requested videos that I get around what shoes that I train in as a hybrid athlete. So it's super exciting to see the work come to fruition and people actually remembering some of the older videos, and it's also really nice to look back and see the progression and video quality as a content creator. But anyways, let's jump right in. We're going to start off with my strength training shoes. We'll jump into the road running shoes, and then we'll finish things off with the trail running shoes. So for strength training, I'm working out in the Altra Solstice XT2s. There are two things I really love about this shoe. Number one, they have the wide toe box, so your toes are able to splay out when you're doing your deadlifts and your squats. And the second piece, this is actually something a little bit against around what you're seeing online a bunch, is it does have a little bit of cushioning on the bottom here. Now, I do know that a lot of people right now are pushing the minimalist shoes or training barefoot, which is totally cool. For me personally, I do like to have a little bit of cushioning underneath my shoe. This is a zero drop shoe, so you're not going to have any lift in the heel. I just need a little bit of cushioning with all the running that I'm doing. When I'm in strength training, I don't want to be putting any more strain on top of my feet that's adding from everything I'm doing with all of my running. And it really reminds me of a post I did a couple weeks back on my Instagram where I said, don't let perfection be the enemy of good enough. And these shoes reminded me of that, where it's like, hey, there's a little bit of cushioning. We might be losing a 0.01% benefit of going barefoot. And for me, I'm totally okay with it. So I always lean towards what feels best. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So that's what I do for my strength training shoe. Let's jump into the road running shoes, and then we'll go into trail running shoes. So for my everyday road running shoe, I am running in the New Balance 1080 Fresh Foam V12s. Late last year, they came out with the V13s, and at a first glance, I'm not a big fan of them. The number one reason is because I feel like they're getting a little bit too close to the Hoka shoes, where they add just so much cushioning. And for me, that's a really big concern from a stabilization standpoint. What I really love about the 1080s, very similar to the Ultras, is that they do have a wide toe box. You're gonna see that theme across all of the shoes that I wear, is that I wanna have a wide toe box, and especially during my running. The reason why is because when you get into those longer runs, your feet start to swell up, and you want to make sure that you have that space, especially along the toes, to just splay them out. Splay out is when they go out like this. What you don't want is you don't want your toes to be curled in because of the shoe, which is not only going to prevent your foot from doing what it naturally wants to do, but you're going to reduce your stabilization. So your probability of rolling an ankle increases. And it's for that reason that I really love the 1080s. They do not have a carbon fiber plate, because I'm a believer that you don't need that for your base running. That's something that we would use in a speed shoe, which we'll talk about in a second. The last thing I'll mention about the 1080s is that they're super light and they're very breathable. So the comfort level is a 10 out of 10. Now, pivoting over to my speed shoe, this is actually a newer shoe that I introduced to my list late last year as I was prepping for the Boulder Half Marathon and for High Rocks. The biggest difference between this shoe and the 1080 is that it has a carbon fiber plate. So that's going to give you a little bit more spring in those speed runs or the progression runs that I do. Today, I'm only doing one speed workout a week, so I only bust these out once a week. They do have a little bit of a heel drop, so you'll see that it is a little bit lifted here at the bottom. If there's one thing I don't like about the shoes, it's the lacing system. So the tongue is actually, I'll flip it over this way, the tongue is actually built into the shoe, which looks pretty cool, but when I tighten it up at the top, it still feels a little loose in some areas, and then when I try to adjust it, it seems like another area gets loosened up. And then there's these other pieces where the laces intertwine into the shoe. When I tighten the laces, this is a hard part that rubs against my ankle bone. Not the end of the world. And I probably should mention the name of the shoe. So these are actually the New Balance Super Comp Elite 3. If you remember from last year's video, I actually did my High Rocks races in the New Balance Fuel Cell Prisms. This is the super shoe version of that. Wide toe box, carbon fiber plate, super light shoe. But again, I'm only using this once a week for my speed workouts, which for me are longer progression runs, usually 8 to 10 miles, and I only do that once a week. But if you're someone that's like a track athlete or a road runner, you're doing maybe 1 or 2 a week, this could be something that you do maybe with intervals on the track, but not for your base running. That's what I would recommend your 1080s. So again, super awesome shoe. I've been using them for roughly 6 months and absolutely love them. I saw that they're coming out with a newer version, I think this week as I filmed this video, and by the time this comes out, I think their new super shoe will be out, and I definitely will try it on later this year. Might do a video just separately on that one shoe. But let's get back to what we're using today. We're going to jump from road running into the trail running, and we're gonna start off with the VJ shoes Altra 2s. So these are the green ones here. I've been using these shoes here for 3 years now, and I absolutely love them. There's a couple reasons why. Number one, same theme, wide toe box across the top here, allowing those toes to splay out. My longer runs are typically in the mountains, so my feet do swell up and I need that extra space. Number two, deep lugs. So being able to get into the dirt, into the trail, either I'm going up or down on the mountain, I have those deep lugs to ensure that I'm getting the traction that I need. Number three, the rubber that they use on the bottom of these shoes, unlike anything else. So like if I'm running and I'm on rocks and it's raining, I know I'm not going to be slipping on that with the rubber that they use. The last thing I'll say about these shoes that I really enjoy is that they do have a rock plate in the sole. So not a carbon fiber plate, but a rock plate. What is that for? This is to protect my foot from those sharp rocks on the technical trails that I'm running. I used to run in the Ultra Trail shoes, the very minimalist ones, and I absolutely hated them. There were moments where I was just getting my foot bashed in and I was like, why am I doing this? Went right back to the VJ shoes, won't go back. But for right now, it's the winter time, it's the end of January. This video will come out at the beginning of February here. And so a lot of the mountains and trails that I'm running on here in Colorado still have ice and snow on them. And that's where this new shoe comes in. This is the third new shoe that I'm adding to the list of my training shoes, which is the VJ Shoes Ace. So think of the Ultra 2s, but with spikes on the bottom. This is huge because I used to think that we would have to wear like mountain running shoes with gaiters underneath if I was going onto ice. All of those things don't work. They always slip off. You have to readjust them. It just doesn't work. I've tried it a million different ways. This eliminates that problem by having the spikes built into the bottom of the shoe. And I can tell you that my confidence running downhill on a mountain that has patches of ice is completely gone. If there's one thing that I wish that VJ shoes would do, and if I had a magic wand and had it my way, it would be to change the lacing system. I'm not a fan at all of what they do with the Ultra 2s. I feel like I always have to retie them and they get loose. They got a little bit better with the Ace, I'm not gonna lie. Different system on the Ace, a little bit more secure. If I could have my own way, I would have the BOA system on these shoes. This is the perfect shoe minus the lace. So if I could get a BOA system onto this, there would be nothing else I could ask for. So now that we've gone over like what I'm training in, let's talk a little bit about like what I'm racing in. For right now, I'm prepping for High Rocks Houston. I'm gonna be racing in the New Balance 1080s. I'm not gonna be doing the super shoes because it's not just a running race. There's gonna be sled push, wall balls, all that stuff. I need my stability, especially for like the burpee broad jumps. You do not wanna be doing burpee broad jumps in a super shoe that's not as stable as something like a 1080. That's just my opinion. And so for High Rocks, I'm gonna be rocking the 1080s. For all of my Spartan races and my mountain races, I'm gonna be doing the VJ Shoes Ultra 2s. I'm waiting to hear back if I get into the Solstice 50 miler up in June, and I will be running in the Ultra 2s for that as well. So there you have it. Those are the 5 pairs of shoes that I'm training in for the 2024 season as a hybrid athlete. If you have any questions at all around the shoes or anything that I missed, please let me know in the comment section below. I appreciate the support that you've been giving me on this channel for the last couple of years, and we'll catch you in the next one.